Hello, welcome to Needing a Meeting. My name is Carol. I'll be your host today, and we are going to do a reaction video. This one is called 5 Tips to Stay Sober, Toothbrush Therapy for Addiction Recovery. And it's from a channel called Fostering Resilience. And hopefully we'll get some people in and get her going. You make the room available. Here we go. And hey, Christy,
Hey,
how are
I
you?
like the background.
Thank you.
I'm
I've been doing.
good. I'm good.
I'm going to try to do a different one every day until Christmas.
Yeah, I love it.
Right
That's
on.
nice. That's nice. I like little cranberries.
Hello, CK.
So, how was your day?
Good. We went to town.
Oh,
We got there
CK,
just doing regular errands and stuff, and we stopped by a coffee place we like to go to. The guy
hey.
also fixes antique fans, and I had one from my grandmother that my brother lets be out in the weather, and it kind of got messed up. It was pristine when we got it from my grandmother, but now it needs work.
Uh-huh.
But it's really one of those cool old fans, the metal kind. You're freezing. I don't know if
Oh, yeah.
you're freezing up. I don't know if you can hear me say that. Listen to Liz Ferris video about the truth about Scientology. Yes, it is disgusting, CK. Yes, it is. And the more you listen to people who have come out of it, the more disgusting it becomes. It's unreal. So anyway, I didn't know if Steve was going to be here or if anybody else is going to want to come into the room, but I thought I'd try to get everybody in and then start the video rather than have the interruption necessarily.
Yeah, that's a good plan.
And to give
Yeah.
people in the meeting a chance to respond to anything that, you know, calls out to them.
Right, right. So, what now? Is a toothbrush therapy. That sounds
Well,
interesting.
I think the principle behind it is you make it part of your life, like you make brushing your teeth part of your life. I think that's the concept behind it. Still freezing up. Yeah, you're free. Yeah, you're still freezing up, Christy. Are you doing it on your phone or on a computer? Are you on your phone or on a computer? Are you broadcasting?
Now,
Are you using your phone or are you using a computer? Hey there again. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yep, frozen up again. Anyway, thought I'd cue up the video here. All right. Well, I guess we can get started. We can start the video up. So yeah, what I was able to gather. Hi, Zelda. What I was able to gather from it is that tooth toothbrush therapy. It's like it's incorporating something into your life as you would brushing your teeth, kind of thing. I think that's the idea behind it. Uh, all right. Are you there? Can you hear me?
I can.
Are you there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can. I was
Okay.
wondering if
It always
you
does
would
this at the beginning.
say again?
I said it
I'm sorry.
always my computer always does this at the beginning. I don't know why. I'm not sure if
Okay.
it's just warming up or if it's where I'm at because I haven't changed what, but as it goes on, it gets better. So I don't know.
Okay. Well, let's if you end up freezing again, you might try rebooting. I don't know.
Oh,
Sometimes I have
okay.
to
Yeah.
sometimes I have to do that before a stream if I've got a lag. Sometimes
Okay.
that's that's the only way that I've ever found to get it
To help.
fixed. Or to
Well,
figure
there you
out
go.
what it is if some piece of equipment that I've added has like one time I had a microphone that was making my picture blurry, and I have no idea why. My husband just got
Oh, no.
retired and can hear if I talk. Plus, I have never spoken online like you guys are doing. Well, okay. Can hear if I talk. I assume that him hearing you talk might not be something that you'd want him to hear. I don't know. But it is what it is, and we are what we are, and, we're all in recovery of some form or another.
You were
Or yeah, very glad you're here. So I guess it's just gonna be you and me for a little while. Watch me start up the video, and then everybody shows up. Oh, let's see what happened. Did I do that?
I don't know.
Okay, I hope not.
It could have just been my computer.
Well, how's everybody today in the chat?
Yes. Zelda, hello.
Ah, okay. I'm with you. I'm with you, CK. You know, my maiden name initials were CK. I used to be Carol King. My parents had no idea about the singer. They were big band era people. I was named after my aunt on my dad's, and that's my dad's sister. So she
Oh,
was Carol
cool.
King before any of us were. She was born in the teens, in the 19 teens.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah. So yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That's awesome. I don't have a cool story about my name. My parents just were like, Christy Lee sounds good.
Yeah,
My brother has a really cool story about his name, but
right
I
on,
was like, well, at least one of us do, right?
right on.
That's what I
Yeah,
told him.
they debated as to whether or not they should name me after my aunt because she was kind of a wild child. They didn't know if that was going to be a good thing to put on my life or not.
That's
The
awesome.
jury's
They're
kind of
like,
still
ah.
out on that one, I think. I think it is. All right.
Mm-mm.
Well, I guess it's just me and you. Like I said, I'll start. I'm paranoid now about starting the video because as soon as I do, here everybody comes. And that's fine.
Right,
That's fine. I want people here so we can have a meeting.
right. There you go. There you
But
go.
I am going to start this video and we'll see where it goes.
Hi, welcome to Fostering Resilience. I'm KJ Foster. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you something called toothbrush therapy. And toothbrush therapy is something that was taught to my husband back over 18 years ago when he went to treatment, residential treatment for an addiction to his addiction to alcohol. It was before I met him. We're actually approaching our 11-year wedding anniversary. We met as a result of our recovery. We met when we both were already on our journey of recovery. It's actually been one of the greatest blessings of my recovery. But this was 18 years ago, and it's 5 things. This toothbrush therapy is 5 things that you're recommended to do every single day that is purportedly guaranteed. I'm not guaranteeing it, but it's purportedly guaranteed. This is what my husband was told when it was taught to him, that if you do these 5 things every day, you're guaranteed to stay sober. So I think it's something that's pretty important to share with other people, because I think it really is very effective. It's something that my husband has been doing, and he taught it to me, and I've done it, not as religiously as he has, and I'll explain the areas where maybe I'm not as I don't do it religiously, so to speak, every single day. But he's pretty much, I would say, at least 4 out of the 5 now. I mean, at 18 years, is still pretty good. He doesn't attend the meetings every single day, which is number one. Number one out of the 5 things that you're recommended to do every single day is to attend a recovery meeting. And although this toothbrush therapy, it's called toothbrush therapy, by the way, because it's like brushing your teeth every day. It's, just as important as your oral hygiene. This is your mental and emotional hygiene. And this is,
I was just thinking about this as I was listening to her earlier. And, a lot of times we make recovery harder than it actually is. All those cliches in AA, one of them is keep it simple, and, that really is key. I mean, part of that complicated, business that we get into mentally is, kind of what keeps us in that place of where we're on precarious ground,
Right.
Zelda, a targ herder. Well, like I am a goat herder, like somebody who has a herd of something, whether it be a herd of cattle, herd of sheep, herd of goats. And a targ is a Klingon. Targ is it's almost like a wild boar, but Klingon version. So it's as wild looking as the Klingons. If you compare a Klingon next to a human being, if you know anything about Star Trek at all, especially like Next Generation and beyond. So I'm not really tough enough to be a Klingon, but I could potentially be a targ herder. They have them as pets. They eat them. They hunt them, etc. So, and I'm a major Star Trek fan. I mean, I get all up into it when I'm watching it, and when my husband and I are discussing it. We discuss it like it really exists. I mean, that's kind of the level that we're at. Like that world really exists. And to us, I guess it really does. I mean,
hey, who knows that it doesn't exist, right? We haven't been proven that it's not true.
That is right.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So what are we saying here? Cosmic, did you check with your doctor about side effects? I think you were talking about still feeling woozy. Oh, okay. Yeah, Cosmic, how are you? How is all that? I'd love to know. Let's see. Not yet, CK. I'm going to give it a week. Apparently it's normal. Yeah, a week or 2 could be expected with anything like that. a few medications that I've had to introduce have brought on that kind of woozy feeling at first, and then it kind of levels off. It levels out eventually.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. I wouldn't be too alarmed if it goes on for a week or two. But after about a week, hopefully it'll start diminishing and it'll get better and better. Like I have none of it left whatsoever with the one that I'm taking. So yeah.
Good. Good, good. Yeah, well,
But
cosmic, sorry.
go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, I'm sorry she's feeling that way. You're feeling that way, cosmic.
Yeah. No, it is. It's rough. It makes you feel like you can't get right. Yeah, no worries. You do know what a Klingon is, right, Zelda? Hello,
Hey,
seventh son. We've missed
hey,
you.
Seventh. Glad you're
Yeah,
here.
so glad you're here. Thank you for being.
Good. Yes, yes. Oh, you take it early in the day. Good. Good, good.
All right.
Yeah.
Ah, we make recovery much more complicated in our minds. When
Mm-hmm.
simplicity wins the day in the sobriety game. Not that it's a game, but if it helps, you can make it a game.
Right.
Challenging yourself to get through the day. In those periods of time where you're used to going for, you know, whatever your drug of choice is, whether it be a
Mhm.
behavior or booze
Mhm.
or a drug. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
Sensitive,
I agree.
I'm really sensitive to meds too. I usually get hyper speedy feeling. Oh
Oh.
boy. So anyway, we're learning about 5 tips to stay sober. One of them is
Mhm.
they she's kind of talking about, especially in the first year. Anyway, I'll let her say it, but attending a meeting every day kind of puts you in a different mindset.
Mhm.
Good, Chris
Oh,
Cosmic.
that's awesome.
Right on. Okay, so we're going to start it back up.
This is what we're working on as a part of the recovery process because it's a mental illness. So we're recovering mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So this is like, as important as brushing your teeth every day. It's 5 things that you do. Number 1 is the meeting. It comes from 12-step recovery. Like, I don't know where the origin is originally, but I've been told that is something that came out of 12-step recovery. Although you can apply this, like, don't let this turn you off, because if you're a non-12-step person, because you can apply these 5 things to any recovery program. I think that regardless of whether you like 12-step recovery or you don't like 12 recovery, that you need to be engaged in some kind of recovery program in order to support your continued sobriety. So a part of that is attending a meeting every day. I would say at least,
and also about attending a meeting every day. That really is, in order for anything to become a new mindset, it really does need to be applied daily. It just
Absolutely.
does,
Mhm.
because it's that idle time, it's that downtime that's
Mhm.
dangerous. And so if you know that you've got to be prepared to go to a meeting and you cannot show up with alcohol on your breath or loaded or whatever, you know,
Right.
um, that's, you can plan your day around it. Make it part of the routine
Yeah.
of that you're planning your day around it, Yeah.
least for the first year to 2 years, because people will say, oh, 90 and 90, but I think that it really, for people who just stop going to meetings after the 90 and 90, their chance for relapse increases, I think, significantly, because it gives you strength, it gives you power, it gives you resilience, it makes your recovery stronger. So regardless of if it's a 12-step meeting or if it's a smart recovery meeting or Life Ring, I love Life Ring, by the way. They have a great
Into that
program. There's not a lot of them around here where I'm located in South Florida. But I think there's a lot online, and then there's Dharma Recovery. There's Fostering Resilience. I offer meetings every single day. So there's a lot of options out there for you to attend a meeting every single day. So that's number one. Number two is to talk to somebody else who's in recovery every single day. And I can tell you for me, and I know this was true for my husband and for my son, who's also recovered from an addiction, that finding a group of people, like making friends with other people who are on the same path, who are committed to achieving the same goals, it's a difficult process, but it's also an essential and important process. What commonly happens if you're somebody who's gone to treatment, like my husband did, I went to an outpatient treatment facility, but you meet other people as a part of that process. And that's great. That's all well and good, because it's really important to, have friends. But those are going to be people who are at the same point that you are in your recovery. And it's going to be really important for you to meet other people who are stronger and have more time under their belt to support you in your recovery process. Because this is what can happen. If you surround yourself with people who are at the same point that you are in your recovery, if one person relapses, it can have a domino effect.
Makes sense.
And kind of put you at risk for relapse. So making sure that it's not just people who are early in recovery, but other people who are stronger and have more time under their belt. So that's number two. And then number three is sort of like a 2-for-1. It depends upon how you look at it, but it's to pray and meditate every single day. And so prayer can be considered a form of meditation.
That one is a little tricky for me. I don't know if I'm ADD or neurodivergent or spectrum or anything like that, but I suspect that I've always suspected that I am, as far back as I've known to think about it, about why my struggle is what it is. And prayer's a tricky thing too, because I approached it a certain way, the last 10 years of that part of my life, that part of my walk. It's not that I've become a believer. I just don't believe what men have taught me about what I believe, or even what to believe.
Right.
Because it got so twisted and so manipulated and so, policed.
Yes. Well, and there's a part where you have to you're working out a whole bunch of new stuff for yourself. I mean, you're discovering who you are now, what that looks like, and then in your case, having to unravel that cult side of things, and now what does it look like? And I know even in my own practice, like there is a lot that you have to kind of work out for yourself, and that can be a difficult thing, and I think a lot of people go through that. And like just knowing that you're not the only one going through it and having to sort it out sometimes too is, and sometimes even just staying focused enough to meditate for a while, sometimes for me. It's like that thought, and what somebody said the most awesome thing to me. They're like, no one ever gets meditation right, ever, so don't beat yourself up about it. Like even the people who, like, even those Buddhist monks who like meditate for 12 hours a day still do not get it right. Because it's just how our brains are hardwired. So as that thought comes in, just be like, okay, I see you. I'll deal with you later, and then send it on. Don't go down the rabbit hole with it. And sometimes, and that's why for me, guided meditation is
Yeah.
really good because it gives
Yeah.
me something to focus on and something
Mhm.
to do. And it's not even that you have to imagine it, it's that you're just doing these things that you're being told to do. And that's a little easier, I
Yeah.
think, than somebody just putting on some music and being like, go for it. Because who knows where my mind would end up.
So yeah, that's one that I need to work out because I know I could benefit from it,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and it's just how it looks for you.
right. Well, I do pretty well with your meditations that you walk us through, Christy. You really could do a channel where you did that every day and people would tune in and do it. I
Yeah,
would. I would tune in every day and do it. No, I would. I'm being 100% serious here.
that's, I've kind of thought of it. Sometimes I like to listen to, if you guys have never listened to it, his name is R. Carlos Nakai. It's the letter R period and then Carlos Nakai. And what he is he's a Native American flute player. And his album, Deluxe Canyon Trilogy, is amazing. And a lot of times I will meditate to that. Like, usually I have something playing in the background when I'm doing the meditations. Awakened,
Hey,
hello.
Nick.
La Chameleon,
Hello, La
hello.
Chameleon. Hello, you
Yeah,
guys. I'm so happy to
yeah,
see y'all. Once you guys like start coming in and interacting, it's like I notice when you're not here and I miss you.
yes, yes. A meditation channel for sleep. That would be cool. Maybe one of these times I'll have to like move my laptop out into my living room, and I'll put on the background and we'll do I'll write out a real, a real serious one. Not that the ones that we do aren't serious, but like those are just kind of what's coming to me at the moment. Those are all on the fly. So
Mhm.
maybe I'll write one out, and then you guys can kind of get the whole experience of how
You
I do
know,
my meditation.
you might want to check and see if the material for our Carlos Nakai is
Mhm.
copyrighted.
Oh, right, right, right. Yeah,
So
because usually I
you,
would do it on Facebook. Yeah, I can
you
check
can
though.
you oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
You can there are a few different avenues where you can get um copyright free music.
Mhm, mhm. I'll have
Um
to see that. I love his, like I said, if you guys haven't listened to it, just, you can play it on Alexa Music or Spotify or YouTube or whatever. It's just beautiful. Oh, is that the link to his trilogy? Oh, yes, you guys save that and check it out. It's just very like, I don't know.
I'm
I
wondering
love
if
it.
it'll let me open the link without going off of this program. Uh, shoot. How do you spell his last name?
Nakai.
That's exactly how I spelled it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. All righty. So we're 3 things into the 5 tips to stay sober. The first being attend meetings every day, especially for the first year or two.
Mhm.
The second is talk to people in recovery and that have, varying amounts of time, and long periods of time. That way, if one person in your circle of friends relapses, it's not, there's more dominoes that are not going to fall as a result, if that
Right.
makes sense. And then the third one was prayer and meditation, which we were just talking about, how we're kind of challenged in that area. At least I am anyway.
Me too.
All righty. So we're going to start her back up here.
It definitely is a form of meditation. But I know for me, how much meditation has really changed my life. It's changed my brain, literally changed my brain. It's helped to reprogram my brain, which was a really important part of my recovery process. So the prayer is, I think, really essential. But I would say I like to say that it's really like 6 things that you do every day, but according to this toothbrush therapy, it's 5. But prayer and meditation, so praying twice a day, like getting up in the morning and asking God or your power or the universe or whatever it is you believe to give you strength not to pick up a drink or a drug that day. And then when you go to bed, to express gratitude and to say thank you for the ability to stay clean and sober that day. And then meditating, I really didn't start to regularly meditate until I was about 2 years sober. So I know that there's people.
Steve, do you have something going that's causing a little feedback loop there?
I don't think so.
Okay. Alrighty.
I'll close Messenger. Do you still hear it now?
I don't know. I'll have to start her back up and we'll see.
Changed my brain. It's helped to reprogram my brain and have more time under their belt. So that's number 2.
Okay.
And then number 3 is sort of like a 2-for-1. It depends on how you look at it, but it's to pray and meditate every single day. And so prayer can be considered a form of meditation. It definitely is a form of meditation. But I know for me, how much meditation has really changed my life. It's changed my brain, literally changed my brain. It's helped to reprogram my brain, which was a really important part of my recovery process. So the prayer is, I think, really essential, but I would say, I like to say that it's really like 6 things that you do every day, but according to this toothbrush therapy, it's 5. But prayer and meditation, so praying twice a day, like getting up in the morning and asking God or your higher power or the universe or whatever it is you believe to give you strength not to pick up a drink or a drug that day. And then when you go to bed, to express gratitude and to say thank you for the ability to stay clean and sober that day. And then meditating, I really didn't start to regularly meditate until I was about 2 years sober. So I know that there's people have resistance to meditation, but I think it's about the key is really learning what works for you and that it's not this long drawn out process. And, you can do it in as little as 2 minutes a day, but incorporating meditation into your daily routine is absolutely going to help to give you strength and resilience. So prayer and meditation, number 3. Number 4 is to read 4 pages of positive literature or spiritual literature, if you will, because spirituality is really about mindset, our consciousness. And when we're in active addiction, where I talk about this a lot I have a video, several videos on spirituality, that we're in this negative mindset. It takes us down into the swamp, into, a mindset of despair, anger, resentment, shame. And so by reading, by feeding, we're reprogramming our brains. And so it helps to feed the brain with positive literature. So, in 12-step recovery, of course, they suggest that you start with the big book and then you go to the 12 and 12, and they recommend all of their literature. But if you're working another recovery program, then reading their literature and then just moving on to whatever you choose. I am starting this new process on my channel where I am going to be doing different videos every single day. They're going to have a theme for the day. And one of those days is going to be Spiritual Sunday, where I'm going to share with you a book, a different book every single Sunday, and read 4 pages out of that book. So you can also utilize that. But reading 4 pages of positive literature is number 4 in the 5-step toothbrush process. And then number 5 is to write out a gratitude list at the end of the day of 5 things that you're grateful for that day. And some people will say, oh, well, I thought about it in my head, I don't really need to write it down, but it's not as powerful if you don't write it down. And there are, some people who do text chains with each other, where they'll send 5
That's a good idea.
they'll text 5 things that they're grateful for to their support group, and then they'll send back 5 things. And a lot of people I know do that. But however you do it, writing down or at least texting it in your phone instead of just thinking of it in your head is much more powerful. And in this particular toothbrush therapy, they recommend that whoever they are, I don't really know, but whoever they are, they recommend that you write it out as a letter to God or your higher power. You write, dear God, dear higher power, and then you write the things that you're grateful for. And I know that, like my husband, he likes to write things in his journal, like things that he can, work on, things that he can strengthen. He puts it as things that he could have done better, but I'm one that believes that he couldn't have done it better or he would have. So sort of like wording it in the future-based positive, like I will, like tomorrow I will be more patient, or tomorrow I will be kinder, whatever it is. But you can also record special events that happen that day. You can use it for all different purposes, but definitely making sure that you write down those 5 things, and maybe getting a special journal, a special book to write it down in. I can tell you that my husband, this is one area of toothbrush therapy that he never misses, and he has probably 100 journals. I mean, 18 years of writing down what he's grateful for every single day, and still does every single one of those except for attending the meeting every single day. Although he still does attend meetings, he just doesn't attend a meeting every single day. And the same is true for me. I don't attend meetings necessarily every single day, but I do conduct meetings, the Fostering Resilience support group, and they are available to you every single day via Zoom. So check the description. There'll be a link in the description if you're interested. I also have an app available, which has lots of free recovery support materials. And so you could check that out as well. But that's it, basically. Those are the 5 things. And if you do 5 things every single day, then you have a good chance of staying sober. And just in case you're curious, to do those 5 things every single day, the amount of time that it takes, my husband calculated it, including a 1-hour meeting, it takes 1 hour and 45 minutes, depending upon how long you talk to the other person who's in recovery. It could be a little bit longer, but on average, it's about 1 hour and 45 minutes. And I think everybody can fit 1 hour and 45 minutes into the day, especially when it comes to supporting.
I mean, we made our schedules fit around our active addictions. How much time did we spend at the bar? How much time did we spend, getting the stuff, finding the place to do it, doing it, having that time set aside to be in the state that we were seeking when we were doing the thing, So when you look at it's just trading off where you were spending your time before to this new way to spend your time, if you think of it that way.
Yeah.
And this is a good rule of thumb for any behavior that a person could seek to change, or any, mindset that, like coming out of a cult, for instance,
Yeah.
It,
Yeah. And
I probably am making the whole prayer meditation thing a lot harder and a lot trickier in my own mind than it really actually is.
well, no, I mean, I don't think so. Given where you came from, I can understand how that has to be reevaluated, because you went from a healthy, it's not like you just walked in the doors of a cult. I mean, you said you started off in church. It came from a healthy place. I remember your story was, you looking at a picture of Jesus and saying, he did this. And, so it came from a very healthy place. Over time, it became unhealthy. And then you had to stop and reevaluate it. So I think anybody who's evaluating their spiritual beliefs, you have to unravel that thread. You have to untangle it a little bit, and you've got to
Kind of
figure
the
out,
last thread, to be honest.
yeah, and you've got to figure out what that looks like for you. I
Yeah.
mean, there's a lot of beliefs in my life that have changed dramatically
Yeah.
from, what they were originally. And some of them, it was really easy. And then other parts of them, it was like, do I really do I really believe this or that? And and I think that you will get to a place that works for you. And I can understand right now, like, I think that's part of what you're working on in your journey is untangling that last little thread, because you've kind of come to understanding and wisdom of the other things, and so it makes sense.
But it would be, I know it would be a good, if I could find something that I really connect with mentally and emotionally, it would be good. I know it would.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and
I gotcha, Christy. I gotcha. And I'll confess a little bit of hesitancy too, except for the fact that there's nothing in that anybody can manipulate that I know of. Unless they want to say, okay, well, this is what you're going to change, and this is how you're going to change it, or this is what wisdom is, and this is what you're going to seek. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Rather than letting that kind of unfold as it's going to, But yeah, I can appreciate that. I can really super duper appreciate that, Cosmic. Yeah. And who knows, maybe I'll learn to do what Christy's doing if I get into any kind of, if I find a meditation thing that works, maybe we can try and do tag team meditation.
Oh, there you go. Well, and meditation, honestly, if we're talking about hesitancy, I was always taught meditation was not a good thing to do. I mean, that's how I was raised. Like, you didn't do yoga, you didn't meditate, you didn't do any of that because it wasn't biblical, is what I was taught. As I got older and became to, look at that for myself, I was kind of like, I don't really see that, I don't really see that part of it. So I'm okay with doing these things. And different people believe different things, and I respect everybody's belief and their point of view.
Yeah.
But that was one of those things that I had to really look at myself and say, is this really how I feel? Or, is this just how I was taught to feel? And I think that's a lot too. And there's a lot when it comes to that can be, hey, that can be difficult, and so I think the only thing you can do is be as inclusive as you can for everybody, and then sort out your own, thing. And one thing I found helpful was asking people who believed differently than me. I remember having a specific conversation with a friend of the family who was Mormon. And I was like, look, I'm not going to change how you believe. You're not going to change how I believe, but explain to me why you believe what you believe. And it wasn't confrontational. And I think if you can do that too, just talking to somebody who believes very differently than you, sometimes that gives you some insight to open, to be like, oh, okay, wait a minute. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
And you don't have to have an answer for it. Don't go in it trying to defend it. Just go in it learning. And that helped me a lot.
Yeah.
It really did. So for anybody out there who's struggling, that's kind of what I did.
Okay.
If you
Yeah. There's always something that can be gleaned even from a negative conversation.
Yeah.
If nothing else,
well,
if nothing else, your part in it,
Well, and what was cool was the person that I talked to was like a way high up elder, and the conversation was very nice, and it didn't get heated, and it was really insightful,
Yeah.
and so I say, if you're going to do that, pick that you can have that kind of a conversation with, but even reading books or something like that,
Yeah.
my greenstone was shouldn't wear, as it was from a different version.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good. I'm
Yeah.
glad you rejected that one, because I
Yeah.
didn't reject that stuff, and I lost some things that were precious to me, and
Yeah.
I still have to sometimes figure out how to resolve that. So I'm glad that you did not
Right.
let them take that from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say too, since we're paused, when she was talking about positive literature, I listen to positive podcasts.
Okay.
Because I don't always have time to stop and sit down and read,
Yeah.
but I can always, I'm pretty good at multitasking. One of the ones I listen to it's called A Bit of Optimism by Simon Sinek. And I just love his last name, by the way. He's British. And so I'm just like, oh my gosh, that's so perfect.
Simon
But
is
it's
his
called
first
A Bit of
name.
Simon is his first name, yes. Sinek is his last name. You can find him on Spotify, and you can go back quite a ways and find his podcasts. Now, he really is all about his thing is he talks to people in business on how to be good leaders, but ultimately it's about how to be a good human. And he talks about being a good human first, and then how you can apply that in the business world.
Okay.
And but his stuff is so good.
Right
And
on.
another person that I love, if you have Audible, if you can listen to books on tape, anything by Admiral McRaven, William H. McRaven, is amazing. He was an admiral in the Navy SEALs. He was over the Navy SEALs. And the things that his books, he's got one called Make Your Bed. There's a whole speech on the internet about it, but he's really good too.
Okay.
And I think those are good, to just especially the McRaven things. Those are books, and they're only about 2 hours long. They're real short if you listen to them on Audible. But A Bit of Optimism is really, really good. I recommend that, because that's how I start my day. Because then you're kind of like, yeah, you don't wake up all cranky. And if you do, you find something to be positive about.
What, since we've been asking questions today, just that are random, what is GTSY? Can somebody tell me?
Good
Good to see you.
Look at that. Misha's on it. She's got the link up for Simon Sinek. He's amazing. I think you guys will love
That's
him.
amazing. Thank you so much,
Yes.
Misha.
She is on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's my favorite.
Right on.
So I think they're about 20 minutes or so. Another inspirational one. This is really long. This is a really long one. It's like 4 hours. But and I didn't know who this one person was. So if you don't agree with his views, I didn't know who he was. I just knew. So Joe Rogan interviewed the singer Jewel, and I love Jewel.
I do too.
And that was a great podcast. And she went into all kinds of stuff, like how she was homeless and she used to steal. And I mean, like her life and her purpose now. And that's a really good one. Now, like I said, that one's like 4 hours long, and it's the Joe Rogan Experience, and he interviews Jewel.
Yeah. I feel like I've seen part of that, and it was good. What the parts that I did.
Yeah.
He's got some insight. Yeah. She does.
She is so smart. She talks about how, and she journaled. And so she was like 15 when she left her house. And she talks about journaling her way through like all of these insights. And where she lived in Alaska, she lived in Ketchimek Bay, which is in Homer, Alaska. And when I lived in Alaska, I lived in Kenai. So I was only about an hour and a half away from where she grew up. So it was really cool knowing the history of her. But again, I don't know anything about Joe Rogan. I'm not saying he's good or bad. I just know that one particular thing. So don't hate on me if he's really awful. I don't know.
The thing I appreciate about him is he gets all different perspectives. He doesn't just stay in one lane with his
good. I like that.
He does. He gets all kinds of different points of view on there. Say what you will about, but that's what I've noticed.
He actually did an interview with one of my former platoon sergeants when I was in the Army. And his name is Sergeant Pat McNamara, and he was on there. And this is one of the most scariest human beings I've ever met in my life. I mean, makes Rambo look like a ballerina. And so he interviewed him. And there's another great motivational guy that he interviews called Jocko Willink, and he was a former Navy SEAL. And he does motivational speaking, and he's on the big boy circuit of motivational speaking. Jocko Willink is his name.
Okay.
And yes, Carol, you're absolutely right. He doesn't get bogged down by political affiliations or who stand is taken by what he does. He does a lot of research on the people that he interviews, and if it's somebody that's going to make an interesting interview, he'll have them on there regardless of their political stance or where they are.
Yeah.
See, that's the kind of thing I like. Like if I were to interview people, that's how I would be. I would be like, all right, explain to me why, walk me through how you did this. And that's just because I'm really, one, nosy, but two, really interested in how people get somewhere.
I'm interested in knowing how somebody arrived at what, at a particular, line in the sand, or
so that's he approaches it from that way. I'm a big Joe Rogan fan, and he approaches it from that perspective. Tell me your story.
Yeah,
tell me your story, and I don't unfiltered. Tell me your story.
Yes.
See, well, and I'll tell you one question I really want to ask. And if I ever did a channel and I ever interviewed anybody, the one question I would ask would be, so Tommy, walk me through the day that you thought robbing a bank would be a good idea. Like, what did that look like?
Yes. I wonder if he would come on and tell us that.
Huh?
I wonder if he would come on and do an interview like that.
I bet he would if we asked, if we're just like, hey, we just want to, but that is my one question that I really want to, like, were you sitting in a parking lot and and then like, how did you do it? Because see, I was a bank teller for a long time.
I would love to know every last bit of that.
Well, and see, and here's the thing, like, I know he's not going to go step by step and be like, okay, I did this.
Yeah, we don't want to teach anybody to rob banks here. That's not
right.
I've heard him answer that question. Not.
But I want to hear. I don't want to hear your version of it. I want to hear it from him.
Okay.
Yeah, like what? At what point did your brain click and be like, let's do that? Like, because that's like a Jesse James thing. Like, were y'all just sitting around? I mean, I would love, that's the one thing I've always wanted to, because I don't really care about the jail part and the prison stuff. Like, that's all great and good, but that doesn't really, I just want to be like,
what got you there? Yeah.
Yes. And then just be like, the floor is yours, sir. Please start speaking.
Yes, 100%.
Right. Hey, Mandra. Yeah, I bet if we asked him, I bet he would be like, hey, listen.
That'd be amazing. Oh my gosh.
Can we interview you?
We've probably covered that, But I mean, there's gazillions of files to go through at this point to get to it.
Oh yeah. Just be like, look, we'll simulcast. Come on, and
Yeah.
just and then it'd be good for both channels. Let's chat.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I've always wanted to know, though. Really, like, at what point did you
real.
decide that was a good idea? And then I would do the Cosmic Christie thing, and I would just sit here like this. Tell me.
That would be amazing. Really would. Well, let's see if she has any pearls of wisdom in this last few seconds of her video.
Your recovery process. So I hope you found this video to be informative and helpful. And if you did, if you could give a thumbs up, and also
already.
definitely share it with other people who might
That too.
find it helpful as well, because that really helps my channel and channel. The whole point of the channel is really to get information out to as many people as possible. So if you could support that, that would be wonderful. And thanks so much for being here, for watching, and I'll see you again next time.
Oh, in the meantime, sorry. I got too curious about the guided meditation thing.
Oh, yeah.
So
Let's see.
So that was interesting. What I wrote down was because I kind of approached it from a different way. I wrote down accountability, connection, spiritual practice, find a bit of optimism, and be grateful.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, those are good things to do every day,
Yeah.
Like, because for me, a lot of times what I have to do with these, or like the boat, is take it and then, look at it and spin it. How do I apply it to my life as it is right now? Like, because I some of it, but I mean, I even do. I tend to meeting every day. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's cool.
It is cool. Like I said, we've all got something, even if we've, here I am with 29 years and I guess 9 months of sobriety.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I've reached the 9-month part of my 29 years.
Yeah.
I still have things that I have to recover from. Like today, my
Mhm.
Timu order came in and my husband said that I'm going to have to go through the DTs like I watched my mom go through in the hospital. And he's not too far off there.
I mean, from ordering.
Yeah. Or just from shopping in general, that's my dopamine hit,
Yeah.
placing the order, checking to see where it is in the tracking, and then it gets here and I get to open it. And I mean, it's a whole thing, but at least it's
So,
not.
Steve, do you have
Hmm?
Do you have anything like that, Steve, that you do, like that you wait for, or anything like that?
Yeah, medical supplies.
Oh, do you get excited over medical supplies?
When I'm running out, yeah.
Okay.
Ah, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, she just brought a new butt pad in for me while you guys were talking, and pretty excited about that.
I mean, hey,
Hey,
that's awesome.
whatever it takes to get you through the day is my, as long as
Yeah.
it's not hurting you and hurting others, especially if it's, toward healing, in which you're healing, Steve.
Yeah.
Now, do you have somebody coming in to help you with your therapy? Because they were going to set that up, right?
Yeah,
Is that
the first visit is Monday, and
Oh, okay.
I'm so not looking forward to it because it's going to be so painful.
Yeah. Well,
But
at least you get to do it in your house.
yeah, that's
You know?
that's a huge plus. That is a thing that after having been through what I've been through with the inpatient
Yeah.
facility, and my wife getting involved with calling the state on them and everything else. It's just been, it's been kind of a nightmare.
It's freak right there with you. Yeah. Sorry. It's like squirrel, squirrel. But that, as Cosmic said, Steve, that literally gets you through the day.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
and I bet you that, have you met the person that's going to be doing your physical therapy? Have you met, or is that going to be what you're doing tomorrow?
No, I met her boss. Met his boss yesterday.
Okay.
And she said that he's going to be coming out on Monday, and we're going to, get prepared. Get prepared to put the. Hey, did anybody else think that looked like Christy with blonde hair? By the way,
what?
Like me with blonde hair?
Yeah, the lady that we were just interviewing.
No. Can't say I did think that or find any.
He was pretty. I did have blonde hair once. It was a very bad thing. It was not good. I'm not supposed to be a blonde.
Well, I tuned into it, and I'm like, what's Christy doing with blonde hair? And I took a closer look, and I'm like, this is really confusing because she's over here, she's up here.
Be like, that wig, she's got that wig
on.
Yeah,
well, that's what I thought. It was another wig.
Oh,
funny. That's awesome. People are like, oh, it's got to be a wig.
Oh,
I love
man,
it.
I was scrambled for a minute there, I got to tell you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I got to change my decorations back here. I was going to do that the other day.
Well, that's part of what bailed me out. I'm like, it's a different background. Something's not right here. That's not her.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you picked up on that.
That's awesome. And Lord Kiss Freak, I tell you what, I get exceptionally excited when I order books. I'm like, oh, when's it going to be here? Is it here yet? So, those are my things I like to track.
I've got some Christmas incense coming. I have one of those backflow burners where it goes down.
Yeah.
And so I've got backflow Christmas incense to burn through the holidays. I'm excited about that.
Actually, I do have one thing. Now that I've lost all this weight, ordering clothes that I couldn't wear before that were a little bit stylish, that I couldn't wear in a 4X, but now that I'm in an XL, like those banded collars, the dress button down with the band. I love those for some reason.
Great.
And I've got a couple of those on order, and I'm like waiting for them to get here.
Exciting. Oh, they kept leaving it at the wrong house. So the mail out here at the post office is horrendous. And they always are sticking stuff in the wrong box. And because there's not people that live here year round, I have to track down whichever neighbor I think it might be if it got put in the wrong box. But anything that comes through the mail, I always get really worried. If it's like UPS or FedEx, but if it's like in the mail, I'm like, okay, I really have to track that. I had a couple things get lost. And one thing put in the wrong box. I'll understand to other way. So I understand the frustration of having that left at the wrong house.
We got a advert in the mail saying that they're looking for new mail carriers for out here.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
See, I don't think I would want to be a mail carrier.
I bet it would. I mean, after a while, my brain would be like, those numbers would be getting scrambled every way from now to Sunday.
I actually met about 10 years ago. I met a lady at the Social Security office, and she said, "Your last name is Molesky?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, 11528 Shram Street. And I'm like, "That's the house I grew up at." She goes, "I know. I used to deliver you guys' mail." She knew from 40 years previous.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That
She
Wow.
was
knew?
that was so weird.
I bet it would be interesting though, depending on the kind of mail that people get, it could probably tell you a lot
Yeah.
about them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Be an interesting way to people watch without,
That's an emotive
making people feel stared at. Steve-O's Wild Ride on YouTube can be a motivational documenting of all this. That's so true, Steve. And help some of us who have just become fat lazy to work out with him. If he can do it, so can we. Oh,
Well,
man.
if you're talking about me, that is absolutely correct. If I can do it, anybody can do it,
That's
because
an amazing memory.
you just don't get to 400 pounds without giving up.
Ah,
And something has got to change within you before you. That's like, walking past a mirror and going, "Oh my God, who is that? I've got to quit drinking." It's the same. I mean, the pasty white. I look like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters. I mean, it was
yeah.
just.
Woo. Lord.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a real eye opener for me when I was starting to come out of the fog and my body was starting to tell me all the damage that I had done to it.
Mhm.
Oh my Lord. I thought I was never going to get any semblance of a good and healthy feeling ever again. It was,
Really?
oh yeah. Yeah. I had really wrecked my body with that, with alcohol. It was eye opening. I had no idea that booze could do that much damage. I mean, I did other things too, but every single day it was booze.
Well, yeah, and like you hear commercials on TV for, tobacco causes cancer. And do you remember that there was an actual ad that said he's too tough to care about getting cancer?
No, I don't remember that.
Oh yeah, he's too tough to care
Oh,
about.
God.
Yeah, and you heard the stuff about tobacco and cancer for years, but nobody was ever uh applying those same warnings to alcohol, or your heart, or your.
Fortunately, the label warnings on the cigarettes came about as a result of that humongous lawsuit.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, that's what ends up having to facilitate change, is them losing a whole bunch of money to the people they harmed.
Well, and you
Attorney
don't,
General,
I
a
mean,
really good attorney general, which I don't know if we've had for a while.
What was his name?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. The one that got the labels on the cigarettes. Yeah, somebody like that.
um, Lord Kiss Freak, I just sent you the link to my song in your personal messenger. And to answer the question, no, none of my songs are available online yet that I know of. The one song is called Should Have Known. I'm really proud of it. It's actually one of the first songs that I ever wrote. I did not think that writing songs was anything that I could do. A friend of mine, she's the one singing it. She asked me to write something and I wrote it, and I just wrote the lyrics and they put the music and everything to it. And it ended up getting them a record deal with Sub Pop Records. That was one of the
Nice.
songs that
Wow.
got them the
Nice.
deal. For those of you who don't know, Sub Pop Records gave Nirvana and Soundgarden their first record deals. So that
Okay.
was like the level of what it was. There ended up being a falling out. And so I don't know if they're gonna like still use that, but I've got like 4 songs that were written for the album. And it's just the lyrics. So because I'm not a fabulous singer, and the guitar that you hear in that song, and I did put it in the messenger link for the needing a meeting group too. You guys can listen to it.
Thank you.
That's not me, to be clear, not me. But I love to write the words, and a lot of my songs are really deep, and because that's me working through the emotions. But if and when it ever comes up that it's available online, because I'm not the one singing it and because I'm not the one playing it, I don't feel like I can really put it up because I'm not in that band, and I don't want to overstep my bounds.
You get a songwriting credit in on the back of the album. On the back of the album.
I would hope so. It ended really badly. It ended really, really badly. So the only thing that they have to do is change 3 words or 3 notes of music, and it no longer is the song that I helped to create, and they don't have to give me credit if that happens.
That's true.
So I would hope that they would be gracious about it. But I'm not holding my breath either. So I just figured, with everybody that I know, I mean, I've got a whole bunch of songs. I've got some really cool ones. And I figured if anybody ever wanted to put music to them and sing them, man, let me know. I've got some words for you. I don't have much else, but I got words.
Mandrew, Stasia has her voice is amazing. Beautiful voice. I don't know if she's here.
I've got to listen to that. Well, she said she was in and then she had to pop out.
Yeah, I listened to it on Spotify. Really good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is so awesome. Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah. So I just thought for anybody, because I didn't really explain anything, but yeah. And I think she put it, didn't she put hers in there too? I've got to listen to that.
Yeah.
Nice. That's cool. I mean, that's another cool thing. All the talent that's here, everybody's so talented in like different ways. And
amazing.
I think that's an amazing thing to celebrate,
100%. Yeah.
That's awesome.
My guitar is never more than an arm's reach away.
I wasn't wanting to bring my keyboards out here to the farm. I used to play keyboard in my husband's band, and I told them when they roped me in that I'm not a keyboard player. I grew up taking piano lessons. There's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
And they got me one of the most complicated keyboards you could possibly hope to have learned to operate. And but it'd be interesting if we could do meditations with maybe me providing some background music on the keyboards.
That would be awesome. We can get together. I could write out some meditations and I could send them to you, and then you could just like see how you feel inspired. Because I think that's the beautiful thing. That's what I loved about just writing the lyrics is you can make it whatever, because should have known is more of a it's kind of in the genre of like Guns N' Roses, like it's that kind of a song, like November Rain, kind of deal, like that epic kind of thing. And so, but when I wrote it, I was actually like thinking of a country song of how it was. So what I think is beautiful about just giving the lyrics is you can adjust it to suit your voice, and you can make it whatever you want it to be. Like it's just these words, and however you're moved is like a really beautiful way to create it. And I think that's great. So we should do that. And send you some of the meditations and you just see how you're moved to play it and we
Okay.
can, that would be
Yeah, like I
awesome.
said, I'll need to make a place for, I
Yeah.
mean, we're talking huge. I've got a controller and then a big Roland keyboard. They're humongous. They're
It's probably
space
something Steve
upper.
made. It's probably something Steve made that for the stuff he found on the side of the road, like a dryer and a typewriter, and he made a keyboard out of it.
Go for a second table.
I don't know. We'll see.
Let's see. 7th, I can send you the link in Messenger. Yeah, I didn't know, Misha, how that would work, if I could share it that way or not, because it's a Dropbox link. But I'll share it. And I'm learning how to play guitar. I've got some really cool guitars I like to play, and I get them out, but not anything good enough to.
If you can find me on the lifeboat, Carol Sherman, or if you can find my name through the group, the Needing a Meeting group, Carol Sherman, send me a message in Messenger, and we'll work on that. I'll work on that with you, and we'll see if we can't get that straightened out. Luck a million. I wonder if it's a region thing. Like, I know that China doesn't allow like a lot of links to come through their firewall into the country. So I wonder if it's something like that. And every country, every region is different that way about what links they'll allow in, what ones they won't.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be some of it. I don't know, but we'll see if we can get it figured out.
And yeah, and 7th, I'll send you that link here in a minute. So, but I'm proud of it. I was, and when everything kind of fell through, I was really sad.
Maybe so.
I mean, hey, like I said, I'll write the words. I got all kinds of music. So that's cool. Did you see, Mandrew, question, do you have a Discord channel? Do you know what that means? I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't know what that means either. What is a Discord channel? Sent you a Facebook friend request, Carol. Okay, very good. I'll be looking for that.
Oh, it's a chat program you can use.
Okay. I don't know if anyone out here does. I used to, but too much to learn, too many places. Yeah, it can get that way, can't it? It's a chat program. Okay. All righty. Very good. We'll get it figured out.
Yes.
Well, put a 2 in the chat if there's anything that we need to discuss on having a meeting, anything that's heavy on you that you'd like to talk about, or you can come into the room and talk about, or we can talk about it over the chat. Put our heads together and see if we can work through anything. And 3, if you feel like you've had a meeting. I'd like to get my Christmas decorations up.
I need to switch these out, and then I think there's just a few more things I need to do, but then I think I'm kind of done.
Okay. Christy says she has the Discord, but hasn't got her own channel because she hasn't worked out how to do it. We are 2 likes short.
Hang on.
Oh, funny. That's hilarious. Thank you, Seventh Son. That's amazing.
I know I liked it because it's the first thing I do. Whenever I see somebody goes live, I like it, and then I jump in the comments and say, hey. That way I like and comment.
Morning. I
know.
I got to my 29-year 9-month mark on the 21st. So if anybody has a recovery milestone they'd like to celebrate, the tiara has come out.
Yay. I love the tiara.
It's made
Beautiful.
its presentation.
Right? It's awesome. So, oh
Thank you,
yes,
Miss
yes.
Pat.
I try to remember to leave a comment too, and I'll go back and I'll rewatch them
And I
sometimes too.
try to remember. Oh, there's commenting on this thing, and go and at least like it or love it or respond to it.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I do have to remind myself to go and read them. But I do eventually do that, and I do go back and read them. So yay me, 29 years, 9 months, and some change.
yeah. When I make a week, I'll buy a tiara. Yes.
Yes.
It.
Yes. And I will wear one with you. 100%. We can wear it the whole meeting, but I'm gonna put on a lighter weight one for that. Needing a meeting Facebook link. Very good.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, it looks like I think everybody's
Thank you,
good.
Lucky Mariana. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
So much, you guys. Yeah.
Trying to get it out there for everybody. I think this is definitely a good, safe place for people to be. I actually recommended your channel to a couple of my friends.
Well,
I
good.
was like, here, you need to come over here.
Yeah. I mean, I like the fact that 46 days, 46 days, seventh son. That's amazing. That
Oh,
is
Steve O.
That deserves
nice job.
Mm.
Nice work.
Yes.
Good job. Good job. That's awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome. Totally awesome.
And I found the missing stone on the floor when I cleaned up a corner of the room where my mom's stuff had been. So I got it repaired. Not a stone missing.
That's awesome.
Mama's
yes.
tiara. It was
Love
in with her stuff. It was in the floor where all her stuff was in the little corner where I'd taken out of her room to make an office out of the room and a spare bedroom.
Aw.
Yes. 100%.
For the final time.
Yes. And we're here
awesome.
for you in any and every way we can to make sure that your dream is realized there and your goal.
He also won the best Thanksgiving Day shirt. And then the day out yesterday, he had a Fred Flintstone shirt on, so he won 2 days in a row.
That's awesome.
By the way, that's what we were celebrating is 46 days for seventh son.
Yes.
Steve. One of the famous Steves on the channel.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
That's amazing. I'm so happy for you. How are you feeling, seventh? Starting to realize some health benefits, or still got some hills to climb? Probably both.
I don't like it because it doesn't have that little bubbly thing where it shows you if they're typing or not.
So snazzy last couple of days.
Your back pain is nasty. I'm sorry.
Back pain. Oh my God, that nearly drove me out of my ever loving mind when I had back pain in the 2010 range of time. Started in the 2009 and went through 11. There were days when I thought I was going to lose my mind.
Oh.
Nasty.
There's a couple things on you that bother you: your back, your feet, your teeth.
Yeah.
If any of those things bother you, your whole body is miserable.
Brutal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I hope you get something figured out with that, Seventh Son.
Yeah.
Call me later, Steve-O. We'll talk. We'll talk about it.
Right on. By the way, I wanted to mention this on the 15th. Little Petey, the daddy of all those little puppies, is getting snipped.
There you go.
So he goes in at 8:30 in the morning, and I have to go at 2:45 and pick him up.
Nice.
And it's a 30-minute drive over there. And when I go to pick him up, I'm taking all 6 puppies for their first round of vaccines. So I may have to put the link on, and maybe I can figure out a way for somebody else to be able to toggle everybody in.
Well, can I ask you guys something honestly? I've heard that when female pets are spayed or male pets get neutered and they get fixed, they go through some kind of emotional trauma.
I'm sure they do.
Well, that's what I was kind of asking. Maybe you could document that.
Well, I can tell you when I had Mikey neutered, the only thing he went through was grogginess from the anesthesia. And am I frozen again? And when I had Shitty Kitty spayed, she just kind of was very gentle. But he didn't seem to go through any trauma. And he was older when I.
You're cutting out a little bit there, Christy.
He was like, he was a little older. And am I back?
Yeah, you
Can
are.
you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
So he was about 12 to 13 months old when he got neutered, and it didn't seem to affect him in any way. And just like when Sweetie lost her leg, it didn't affect her either. And the vet said that a lot of times we put our own emotions on pets, and like to us, it would be a big deal to not have a leg, but to her, it wasn't. So it might or might not. I mean, I know with horses and cattle and stuff like that,
Okay.
it's not a big deal.
Oh,
That's terrible.
poor
Yeah,
baby.
I mean, Mikey, he just, he just kind of walked around dazed, and then he was fine after that. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's
It
that
depends on the
possibility.
animal.
But
Yeah.
I was told that especially on these kinds of dogs, that it's best to let them get fully grown before you do it. So he's going to be a year old on December 29th. And so he's on December 15th. And I'm having the vet do it that has done all my boy goats.
Yeah.
And if anybody's method would be the least traumatic, it's going to be Dr. Chris's, the vet that I like to get my boys done by I said, my boy goats. So I hope he doesn't go through anything too traumatic like that.
Yeah.
Well, that was kind of my question is maybe that's something you could document and just see if there's a change between, because that's what we're about. We're about trauma and we're about overcoming it. And if it affects an animal, I would be personally curious to know if it's something that is a real thing,
Yeah. And I'm gonna keep my eye open for that. I would anyway. I always like to see how my decisions affect my animals. They keep me honest that way.
Yeah.
And
well, and I'll tell you with Mikey, the reason we did that I had to was because of his breed. I couldn't afford to have all of his testosterone running full four boil through it. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't. And the reason that they tell you to wait until a year is so that they get as grown as they're going to get to allow them to reach their potential.
Yeah.
But with him, just all of that testosterone, I couldn't. And it's a good thing I did, because at the time we didn't have Sweetie. And because Sweetie's pelvis was crushed and she had to have her leg amputated, the vet's like, she can never get pregnant. Like you would have to put her down. And so I've got to take her in and get her spayed, because they couldn't do it when they amputated her leg because she had a bad infection. But, it was, I think it was more traumatic for me when she got her leg amputated than her. She was like happy. She was running around like a free dog. She was just like, yay. No more pain.
My girl dog, it didn't seem to affect her at all.
No.
She was the same dog before and after.
Yeah. She was.
We had a full dog. We had a dog, kind of a mixed breed, kind of what do you call them? I don't know if mongrel's the right word, but just a complete mixed breed. And we got her spayed, and she went into a full-blown depression. I mean, went hiding under the bed, wouldn't let anybody touch her or anything.
Oh.
So that was
I'm sure it's just like humans. Every dog is different.
Yeah.
And different things are going to affect different breeds and dogs differently.
Yeah. Well, plus I just don't want a bunch of little
cherry tomatoes
running.
You were cutting out just a little bit there, Christy.
Oh, I said I also
Just
don't want a whole
ahead.
bunch of cats and dogs running around.
Yeah. Edie has had her one and only batch of puppies. So it just makes sense to get Petey done first, and then her when she's no longer nursing any babies, so they can't damage her. Yeah. Oh,
I'm all 2'd up.
I think you're right, like a million.
Or 3'd up, I mean.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah, and that's why I went ahead and scheduled so far out, because I wanted this particular vet to be the one to do it, because I like if it's going to have the least traumatic impact, his method is going to have that. So
your animals know too that that if you have confidence in the place they're going to, if you're scared when they're going into the same building, if you're scared, they're going to be scared. If you're calm, they're going to be calm.
Yeah, makes sense.
Is that Steve jamming?
All right, you guys. Yeah, let's do some box breathing.
Okay, we can do that. So we'll just do 5 sets, and we'll just do the breathing since I'm kind of cutting out the meditation. So
Okay.
we'll go ahead and we'll just we'll do 5 of the box breaths. So for anybody who's new, then for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4 till all of the air is out of your lungs. And as you're breathing in, breathe in positive, good energies, prayers, whatever you do. And as you exhale all the negative out. All right, so here we go. Breathe in. In. Hold. Breathe in. Hold. Exhale. Last one. Breathe in. Positive thoughts. Hold. And exhale all your negativity. Shake it off and open.
Yay.
You're ready. Yes. Get all of that
Yay.
extra out. All right. Always good to end with some breathing. All right. Well, I will see you all tomorrow.
All right.
Yes. Thanks everybody for being part of this. I love every one of you and I appreciate you. And we'll see you next time. Peace, y'all.